Toasties. I'm Missy, here with my bestie Johnsy.
Hey, y'all.
And welcome to our Toasted Shenanigans. How you doing over there?
I'm doing great. It's our fucking birthday.
Happy birthday to us. Actually, it's not quite our birthday, but it's close.
It's close enough.
This is our birthday week, guys.
One fucking year.
One whole year.
We hung in there.
We did it.
I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of us, too.
They better be proud of us, too.
I'm proud of the Toasties if they're still here from the beginning.
Absolutely.
Like, congratulations. You stuck it out with our shit.
If they're here from the beginning, they'll recognize the story.
They will recognize this story. But it is our birthday week. So this whole week, we're celebrating Toasties and Toasted Shenanigans. Birthday is on Wednesday. It was March 13th when we posted our first official episodes.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. And that's still getting downloaded, which is awesome. The first ones. Except for one specific episode, which is no longer able to be downloaded. Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, the 16th, though, Toasties. I'm going to say this now because most of you might tune out at the end. We're doing a TikTok live to have a celebration for our birthday.
Yep.
And we kept talking about in all the previous episodes up until now that we were going to do it.
Yeah, life is kind of settled right now, so we're going to take advantage of it while we can.
Yes. So coming up March 16th at about 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. I was about to
Don't say Central. No, not in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I was about to say Central, guys. Again, that has to do a lot with this episode. You like all the hints we're dropping? But we are going to be doing that happy birthday celebration. We're have cake and drinks and whatever other types of shenanigans that come our way.
Just join the conversation. Come have fun with us.
Come tell us your favorite episode.
I'm sure if we convince her real hard, Missy will bring out the tarot deck again.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun. Sorry, I keep hitting my beer. I need to put it in my lap.
Yes.
Speaking of which, I'm drinking beer. This time it's not the other one. It's an off-brand of the... Well, it's not off-brand. It's the, I guess, a sister. The hazy little thing IPA. I got the big little thing IPA. Sorry, that was really loud.
It's off the Richter scale up there.
Breaking records again. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But it's just it's 9% instead of the 6%. It was a week.
Oh,
and this is tasty, and I'm just chilling.
Nice. Loved that for you.
But you got something real tasty over there.
I got something real tasty, and you got to try it with the way I mixed it because I didn't make it straight. But you guys have heard me talk about the Belle Isle moonshine that we had earlier in the summer. It's the lavender lemonade one or whatever. Well, we got the blood orange one.
That's super good.
Oh gosh, it's so good. These guys are killing it with these flavor combinations. That habanero one, I'm not getting that one. I don't do spicy. But I had the blood orange on its own is so good.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
It could be
good.
sipped on its own, but I didn't sip it on its own because I don't want to be completely toasted in this episode. So I do have it mixed with Sprite, and it's 10 out of 10. I wish I would have got the cream soda, though. I'm going to make that.
That's good, but it would be better with the cream soda.
Oh, absolutely.
You gotta grab the cream soda.
I'm going to make this with the cream soda. I'll bring that to the live guys and talk about it then. But it's delish. It's delish. I was expecting it to be like really gross orange flavor, to be all honest. Because sometimes with the blood oranges, they can get it wrong.
Or it's like too artificial, but that tastes very, very authentic.
Yes, it's good. It's good. Good job, Belle Isle moonshine. So let's get into it. Oh yeah, and we have a P.O. box coming. I know I said that last episode that we're gonna get one, but stay tuned for details on that. Maybe Thursday the 14th, because I'll post on the Instagram. We want to hear from you guys, and we want you to send us letters or whatever else shenanigans you want to send us. Please make it appropriate.
It doesn't have to be appropriate. Tell us whatever you want.
Oh, no. Care. Tell us whatever the fuck you want. I'm saying if you're sending things, please be cautious of what you're sending.
Oh, yeah. No dick pics. No dick pics.
I was thinking, like, I don't want a box of cockroaches or something.
Oh, yeah. No, you make a forever enemy for me. I'm deathly afraid of cockroaches.
Absolutely. Those palmetto bugs that we have that look like cockroaches, right? Mm-hmm. So there was somehow one dead on the stairs one morning. I was getting ready to start taking Angel to the bus. And Bubba just came running out of the house. He's like, I can't go upstairs. There's a you guys didn't know, my son hates bugs, but he loves them at the same time. It's weird.
Yeah, no.
I don't get it. Like,
I'm cool with other bugs. Cockroaches? Nope.
I don't do centipedes.
Centipedes don't bother me.
Oh, I fucking hate those things.
That's how I feel about cockroaches.
Oh, I feel that way about them too. I love me some spiders though.
I love spiders too until they fucking bite me.
Yeah, how's that leg going?
I mean, it's there. I'm still alive.
Did it heal?
Not completely.
Oh, that's
It's still hanging out.
That's fun times.
It's not like gross anymore.
Oh, that's good.
So
Awesome.
I didn't die.
Well, that's good. Are you ready to get into this fun?
Yes, let's do
story?
it.
Let's do
I'm
it.
anxious to know the ending.
Yes. So, guys, Toasties, if you are the OG Toasty from March 13th of 2023, you would know this story as the Slenderman story. Mm-hmm. Now, we really jacked that story up, and we had to right away.
It was our first one. You can't blame us.
It was our first. We were so fucking nervous. So fucking nervous.
We wanted those. What do we do with our hands?
What do we do with our hands? How do we talk? Are we loud enough? Are we too loud? Can you hear me?
It was a mess.
I was so nervous on how I was delivering that story that day. I still remember, and we were trying to figure out how we are even going to get this started, how we're going to jumpstart this whole journey that we've been on. And Slenderman, the story, was the first one that we did. And it was good. It was good. I was all over the fucking place. But you know what, guys? When am I not?
Very true.
When am I not? And you all should know this by now. So, as you guys know who Slenderman is, and if you don't, here's a quick recap of who the character himself is. He was a fictional character that was created by a creator in a competition where there was two photos that he kind of edited this tall, lengthy dude in a suit. He has no face, really long limbs, almost Jack Skeleton-like, without a face.
Meant to be in Men in Black kind of look.
Yeah, he looks like Jack Skellington and Men in Black combined. Mm-hmm. But he kind of is creeped behind these pictures of these kids. And this guy created it and he won the contest for it because it looked so legitimate on how he put this guy in the background to almost make it seem like he's hovering.
Yeah, he did a really good job with it.
He did fantastic. And if you guys haven't seen those pictures and you're not creeped out by that kind of stuff, go ahead. But because it looked so realistic and he did such a great job, it took off a life. Slenderman took off a life of his own by other people who all made up their own stories of who he was. Now, he was kind of this guy who had different views of how he was. He was he stole children, or some people turned the story into he was watching over children, and a lot of people were comparing him to the the Pied Piper, where he said he'll take care of the rats, and if you just got to pay me, and because the whole area was infested by rats, and they didn't pay him, so he took the children. That's kind of what Slenderman also was. So he was looked at in so many different lights, so many different forms. Creepypasta, or
there's a movie now too. There's everything now.
Yeah. So he has his own life of his own, and it was all just from a content creator person who was just entering a contest. I mean, what better way to win than to not only create a really realistic photo, but then for it to take a life of its own and become a whole ass character just by two pictures.
Yeah. The only issue was that people became obsessed with it.
Yes, there was a huge obsession, and unfortunately, there was a very dangerous obsession that has come from this, and that is where our story is going to be from. So, back in May 31st of 2012 is where the story originates from. But we're going to backtrack a little bit before we get into this whole scenario. This story is about three young ladies named Peyton Lautner, Anise Wire, and Morgan Geyser. And like I said, those names should sound familiar. These were the girls that stabbed their friend and left her for dead in the woods to appease Slenderman. Now, Peyton and Morgan were lifelong friends. They were 12 years old at the time of the incident, but they were friends much, much longer than the incident that happened. Sorry, I just totally spaced out on that. I'm like, what was I going with that sentence? But they were friends for quite a long time. And it wasn't until about 6th grade when Anissa joined in, this friend group. Now, Morgan was known to be very quirky, kind of a girl in her own world.
Maybe on the spectrum.
Probably would have been looked at like she was on the spectrum.
But if you met her, that's what you would assume.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
It would.
Not that there's anything wrong with any kids or people on the spectrum. She just had that extra...
special qualities.
Yeah, that extra brilliance to her. Like, you could tell.
Yes, absolutely. And she just had this, like, confidence to her that was very unique. Peyton was also a bright young woman, young little girl. Both of these girls were very youthful. I don't want to say childish, but very youthful for their age group. As 12-year-olds in 2014, they're more, they were a lot more advanced because you got the cell phones at that time and you got the, social...
They really hung on to their innocence.
Yeah, and you got like the social media is starting to become more and more bigger at that time. So for 2014, 12-year-old
YouTube
girls,
was huge then.
YouTube was ginormous, which is how most people learned about Slenderman. Now, Morgan and Peyton they still played with American Girl dolls. They loved to play dress up. They loved to color. Peyton loved cats. And Morgan kind of like encouraged the love of cats for her.
They're just your typical, what you think of a little girl at that age would be.
Exactly. What you should think of when you think of a little 12-year-old girl, not a TikTok star. Anyways, in 6th grade, that is when Anissa came in. Now, Anissa, too, was kind of into some of the youthful things, but Anissa also did have the access to the internet. And when Anissa moved into the neighborhood, she actually moved into the same area that Morgan lived in. And Morgan and Anissa actually met on the bus stop. And that made Morgan's mom so happy because Morgan made another friend. Now, Morgan wasn't very good at making friends. Peyton was her only friend. And so when Anissa moved in and they rode the bus together and got close, like Morgan's mom was ecstatic. She was so happy that her daughter was starting to blossom, making new friends and exploring fun.
As any mother would.
Absolutely. So she encouraged this wonderful friendship that she thought her daughter was really getting into. Little did she know, her daughter was also being introduced to none other than the Slenderman. Because Anissa learned about him from a brother and she shared it with Morgan. Now, when Anissa and Morgan started becoming friends, Peyton started to get pushed out. Anissa did not like Peyton. Anissa wasn't very kind to Peyton. And Morgan, again, being the kind of girl that she was, wasn't very good at sticking up for Peyton. And also with some friendships that happen, you have girls where they separate. You move on. I tell my daughter this all the time. You have your season friends. Whatever season of life you're in, they're your friends. And when you're out of that season and into the next, they're gone. And it sounded kind of like Morgan and Peyton were already in that transition.
Wait, does that make you my niece?
No, I'm Morgan.
You look like Morgan.
I do.
Or she looks like you. But
yes, it's actually really creepy, guys.
Just to let y'all know, Missy stole me away from one of my other prior best friends.
I did not. I did not do that.
She did.
Are you talking about the...
Yeah.
I did not do that. That was not me.
It wasn't her. It wasn't her. I'm just picking on her.
She swears, though, that I did.
No, she does. Yeah. But some bitches just be jealous. Anyways, continue your story.
Oh, my gosh. Anyways, so Morgan and Peyton were kind of already starting to separate. It wasn't until, I think, Morgan's birthday party. Yes, it wasn't until Morgan's birthday party, which was May of 2014, that Peyton or Morgan invited Peyton over for a sleepover. And Morgan actually was like really ecstatic about that. She actually was really happy. She kind of thought she was losing Morgan as a friend to Anise. She was okay with that, but it kind of stung a little bit, especially when you have a lifelong friend that you're not willing to
separate with.
Especially when you have a lifelong friend that you've been like with for a while. So the birthday party was going to consist of them going to the roller rink and then a sleepover at Morgan's house. And Peyton packed up her American Girl doll and all her other fun things and just was so excited to go spend time with her friend. And she was really excited when she found out actually Morgan was going to come pick her up a little bit earlier than they anticipated. So they went to the roller rink. They went to have pizza. It was a really great night. It consisted of just laughter and fun.
I'm going to pause you for 1 second. I miss those days. Can we go to a roller rink and have a pizza party, please?
Honestly,
for the love of fucking God.
Honestly, I was just thinking about that not too long ago. I'm like, man, I want to go roller skating.
Roller skating or even ice skating. We got the ice skating rink right off the fucking street.
I'll go.
Let's do it.
And our daughter's been wanting to go. She keeps asking. I'm like, she always asks, of course, like as kids do at like the most inappropriate times. Yeah. It's like I'm like hands deep in like whatever. And she's like, Mom, can we go ice skating? I'm like, really? No.
Not right now.
I'm like scrubbing a toilet.
All right. So we'll have to figure that on our busy calendar. But yeah, that's happening.
Okay, let's do that. They get back home and continue on the sleepover. They wake up the next morning. They eat breakfast. Then they go upstairs, play dress up, running up and down the halls giggling. And then Morgan goes and asks her mom if they can go to the park. Mm-hmm. Now, big note here is that Morgan's mom never lets her go anywhere without an adult. Mm-hmm. Hence, I mean, that makes sense. She was 11, but now she's 12. The park is a few blocks down the road, and she has her 2 friends. So her mom decided, let's have today be the day that Morgan can have a little more freedom. Mm-hmm. So Morgan and her mom, or Morgan and the girls, head to the park. Mm-hmm. And that is when things get bad. Now,
correct me if I'm wrong. You didn't live far from this park while this was happening. You were in Wisconsin at this time.
I was in Wisconsin at the time, and at that current moment, my daughter was 4 years old.
And that's why this is why we started our podcast with this story. It really stood out to Missy. Like, it really struck her because for the first time since she had, birthed her daughter, she really had to worry about the society around her.
Yes. At that age, I mean, she wasn't necessarily getting ready. She wasn't in sleepovers, but she was starting school for the first time that fall. Because in Wisconsin, we have K-4 in the public school systems. And so I knew she was going to be starting school that fall. And that is when I had to remember, like, oh my gosh, she's going to be in a place that's out of my control, and she's going to meet people and want to be around people. And I don't get to meet them first and then let her see them.
Yeah.
So this definitely did stick out to me in that regard because it put myself in that position of thinking of my child as well. These girls were 12 and my daughter was 4, but it still hit a spot for me.
Yeah, especially being so close to it.
I was 19 minutes away from where this situation had happened.
Yeah. Still a little too close for comfort.
19 minutes is a short drive.
Yeah.
It's a very short drive. And these girls were picked up. We're jumping ahead. So anyways, the girls go to the park and there's a altercation in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. Anissa hit Peyton in the head and like banged her head up against a wall. Morgan then like rushed out of the bathroom and Anissa's like yelling at Peyton that she has to go calm down Morgan, and it's a whole thing. Now at this point, things are just getting really weird, and Peyton actually wanted to go home, but
as I would too.
She's kind of felt stuck at the same time because she wants to go home, but
she's trying to be a good friend.
She's trying to be a good friend for Morgan. Very upsetting. It's all weird things. So they start walking, and they actually leave the park, and they're walking a little bit further out. And they're in an area where, like, it's actually blocked off and cars can't go down that road. It's more like a trail type thing. Bicyclists are on that more. Mm-hmm. And they get the idea that they want to go play hide and seek in the woods. Mm-hmm. And Peyton definitely, like, all her bells are going off. Like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But she's convinced to go do it anyways. Now, it was decided that Morgan would count and Nisa would go one way, Peyton would go the other. And Peyton was told to go hide and lay on the ground and cover yourself up with leaves so that you're not found. Mm-hmm. So she kind of did, and she's sitting there, and she can kind of hear, like, mumbling, and she realized it's Morgan and Anissa talking. So she's hiding some more, and all of a sudden, she's being mounted by Morgan, and then she's being repeatedly stabbed by Morgan. There was a lot of words, altercations that were obviously said during this. After Morgan was done, she got up and said, "We're going to go get you help now." Because Peyton actually tried to get up after this. She was screaming, "Stop." She was screaming, "I can't breathe." She was screaming, "I can't see." And after Morgan was done, Peyton got up. And Anissa grabbed her by the hand and laid her back down and says, "Lay here. We're going to go get you help." However, those two girls were not going to go get her help. And after Peyton realized she couldn't hear them anymore, she got her strongest willed self up and crawled herself out of that woods. Mm-hmm. She got herself to a sunny, grassy patch of grass, even though she could actually not see, she said. Her vision was gone. She was just at this point in shock. And that's where she decided to lay down. And fortunately, a bicyclist saw her and helped her. And thank goodness for fucking cell phones, because he was able to not leave her side and called 911. Mm-hmm. There is a 911 call of him reaching to the police, and even they were shocked to hear what he had to say. You could hear in his voice he was just distraught at the sight he saw of this little girl. And the police, this was the first call of the day in Waukesha, Wisconsin. And they were like shocked. He's like, I have a girl here and she's been stabbed. And they're like, what?
Yeah, it was 19 times.
Yes.
19 times. Imagine finding somebody stabbed 19 fucking times.
Well,
that's a shock to anybody, especially a fucking 12-year-old.
Well, the police were like, excuse me? And he's like, stabbed. They're like, stabbed? And he's like, stabbed. So that morning, the police actually were in the process of responding to a sign vandalism. You know how Dunkin' Donuts has the signs with like the letters that you can interchange and stuff like that? I guess some kids changed the signage to say something like inappropriate. I don't remember what it was. I don't even think they even said what it was, because at this point it's irrelevant. They're then getting a 911 call of a little girl being stabbed to death. And so they go to that. Fortunately, they get to her and they see just this horrific sight, obviously. And fortunately, she was even strong enough to give her name and her parents' name. So they were able to go get her parents right away. Now, her mom was home with her little brother. Her dad was at work. And it's early in the morning again, guys. It's like 9 a.m. Mm-hmm. It was actually 9 a.m. was when the police showed up to her mom's home. So at that point, she was just like, why are the police, why are the detectives at my house at 9 a.m.? Mm-hmm. And she's just like freaking out. Who's hurt? Who is it? It can't be Morgan. Morgan's at her friend's house. So she's thinking any other family member. Yeah. And that's when they dropped the bomb that your daughter is in the hospital. There's been an incident. We need you to come to the hospital. She's like, my husband's at work. And he's like, you need to call him and you need to go now. I don't know how much time you have.
That's a terrifying call for any parent.
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. And she does that. I don't know what she ended up doing with her son. It was never spoken of what exactly they did with him. But she gets to the hospital. She fortunately got there just in time before Morgan got taken to, or Peyton got taken to the OR. Mm-hmm. And they asked her who did this. She's like, who did this? And she heard the name Morgan. And her mom was dumbfounded. Just dumbfounded. She's like, there's no way. It can't be. Like, anybody, that's her best friend. And she knows Morgan. She's like, Morgan's not capable of this. Like, she swore that maybe Peyton said Morgan because that was just the last person she was with. Mm-hmm. And as they were closing the doors, all she heard was the nurses counting. She's hearing these numbers, counting, all these numbers. And she's like, what does this mean? What does this mean? She hears the nurses go, I got 10 on this side. And the one's like, I got 9 on this side. Yes, she had 19 stab wounds. 19. But her mom just was like, what are these numbers? What are these numbers? It was them verifying the amount of stab wounds she had. Peyton had one stab wound that was, if it was just a millimeter to one side, she would have been instantly dead. Heart attack, dead. And thank goodness that didn't happen. She also had stabs in other major organs. Her stomach, I think her pancreas was one of them. And just
the girl was turned apart.
She was turned into a pincushion, unfortunately. But fortunately, she had an amazing doctor because she did survive, which is the beauty of that situation. She did survive. Now, as Peyton's mom and Peyton are dealing with this, the police are on the search for Morgan and Anissa. So they both instantly go to their houses. And they just go in there and ask where they're at. Now, Anissa's parents are like, she's at a sleepover. And Morgan's mom is like, they're at the park. So the police never told them anything other than, we need them now. We need to find them now. And they ransacked that house looking for them to make sure they weren't being hidden in the houses. And they're like so confused and they're freaking out, thinking like something happened to their kids, because all they were told was someone was hurt and we're looking for they told Anissa's family someone was hurt, we're looking for Anissa. And the Morgan's family was told someone was hurt, we're looking for Morgan. So they're like, oh my gosh, especially Morgan's mom, because they're in her care technically. Yeah. So she's really fucking panicking. Anissa's mom instantly gets like flyers going and they're on the news right away, like getting the word out. They think that they're like just stolen. Yeah. Which I would too in that situation. They weren't given many details. They were found after they took a nice little trip to Walmart to clean the blood off of their body on the side of 94. And that was also about like 15 minutes from my house that these girls were picked up. The girls were actually on their way because the reason why they stabbed their friend the way they did was for Slenderman. She was a sacrifice to Slenderman so that these young girls can become proxies for Slenderman to help protect their family from being hurt by Slenderman. And then they were going to walk to his mansion in Nicollet State Park in Wisconsin. And that was like a good 2-hour drive. And they were going to walk it.
Damn.
To go serve Slenderman.
I got some kind of dedication, I'll at least say that. But that's about all I can say. It's positive for them.
Yeah. So the police told the girls' parents that they have them and that they're at the station and you need to come. Now, in the state of Wisconsin, these girls were allowed to be questioned without parents present.
Really? I did not know that.
That is a law that they are allowed to do that, especially in this. It has to do with the condition of the case as to why. Someone almost died.
Yeah.
So at this point, they're facing adult criminal charges, which is why they were allowed to be questioned, because they're over the age of 10. Now, if they were under the age of 10 or 10, they would not have been allowed to be questioned regardless without their parents. So the parents are outside in the waiting area. They can see their girls basically, but they are not allowed to go back there. Now, both girls get questioned. And I'm going to tell you this right here, right now. That is the video footage of these girls being questioned boiled my blood. So they were asked, obviously, like, what happened? Why did this happen? Explain to me what happened? Anissa's story quickly turned. She was told that first off, she's sitting there fine. Until all of a sudden, they're like, your parents know you're here. Then she starts sobbing, asking if they're scared. And they're like, oh, they're a bit worried about you. And she's just instantly like, oh, okay. And she like stops crying. Her waterworks were on and off real easily.
Yes.
Very, very easily. And then she was asking, what happened? And she was quick to point the finger at Morgan.
Very quick.
All Morgan's idea. We were going to do these things with the sacrifice for Slenderman. It was Morgan's idea that it was necessary that we had to sacrifice Peyton for Slenderman. Just Morgan's idea. All Morgan. Morgan. Now, when you go to the interviews of Morgan and her explaining what happened, she is a shell of her body.
Yeah, she's left the building.
She's
seen
not there.
Way too many shit. She looks like she has served 4 wars.
She's just very la 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 la. Like nothing's on up there.
She's not there.
She is not there. And the only time that she kind of had like a slight I'm here moment was She asked where Peyton was. And they said that she's in the hospital. They have her. And she all of a sudden perked up. Like, gave this look like she's okay. And then she dropped back into just, like, zone. And when she talked very childish, very, very young kid-like. She's sitting there kind of playing with her toes like a kid. And whenever she was asked any questions about what happened, she was just like, it was Anissa's idea. I didn't want to do it. I don't like hurting people. I don't want to hurt people. And she asked if she was a bad person and if she was going to go to jail for a long time. And it was just kind of heartbreaking to hear her speaking, because it's just like, it's like it wasn't her.
You watched Morgan's interrogation video, and like your heart felt for her. Unfortunately, you know, even though what she did was wrong, but your heart still felt for her. You watched Anissa's and you're like, I'm gonna fucking back slap the shit out of this little bitch.
Yeah, because like I said, she turned the waterworks on and off whenever
she was
it was
totally
necessary.
trying to manipulate the situation.
Yes.
She just wasn't mature enough to make it go her way.
No. So she just went the route of, as every child does, I didn't do it. And that's the thing is she didn't. But she egged Morgan on. Now, here's the crazy, crazy thing about this stabbing is it happened in the woods. That was plan 3. There was 2 other plans that were supposed to happen before they finally got to the woods part. Plan number 1 actually was going to be that they were going to, at night, duct tape Peyton's mouth shut and slit her throat. And then they were going to slip out in the middle of the night. But Morgan forgot to set the alarm because they were going to go to bed and then wake up and then do this. Morgan didn't set the alarm because apparently that was Morgan's job.
I don't think she really wanted to do it.
That's
why she didn't do it.
I don't think so either. The second plan happened in the bathroom, that altercation. What they were going to try to do is Anissa was supposed to knock Peyton out. And then they were going to stab her in the bathroom so that the blood can go down the drain. So it wasn't much to clean up. But they wanted to knock her out because Anissa, these are Anissa's speaking in this regard, that she read somewhere that you should not kill somebody with their eyes open because then it's like looking at yourself and you don't want to do that to yourself. She read somewhere.
So she researched this. So she already knew what she was doing. She already was planning this. Like,
yes.
The fact a fucking child could do this. I'll let you continue.
So Anissa researched that, which is why they also were going to do it in her sleep. Because then she wouldn't be awake for it and they wouldn't have to look at her when it happened. Because that makes it harder to do. But plan 3 ended up in the woods. And the mumbling that Peyton heard was Anissa and Morgan arguing on who was going to do it. Anissa was supposed to do it, but she told Morgan she can't because she's too squeamish.
You weren't squeamish in the bathroom.
You were getting ready to try to knock her out. But the thing is she was okay with the sleeping part. She wasn't okay with Peyton being awake.
Then you shouldn't be okay with it all. Regardless, you shouldn't be okay with it in general. But I'm saying at the very least, like, if you're having a hard time with this, then it's the wrong thing to do.
I know. Now, their rooms were searched. Their internet was searched. They asked Morgan who Slenderman was. Did she know who Slenderman was? And she really kind of didn't until Anissa. Anissa was asked about Slenderman and how she knew about Slenderman. And she completely contradicted herself on how she really didn't know who it was. And then she's asked if he knew what creepypasta was. And she straight up said there was a fictional character called Slenderman on there. And they were trying to appease him, basically, and protect their family. A fictional character. She knew he was fake because she told the police she knew he was fake by calling him a fictional character.
She was just a jealous bitch.
I think she definitely was. I think for sure she was. Now, the trial came up. Both girls were tried as adults. fast forward or backtrack, rewind a little bit. Like I said, Peyton survived. Peyton got out of surgery. Of course, her mom embraces her again. And the first thing Peyton says is, "Are they caught?" Mm-hmm. And because that's all she wasn't speaking. She couldn't speak. She had to write. But the first question she asked was, "Are they caught? Or are they still out there?" And they were caught. And she was told, and she said, "Good. I hate them." Basically, all the mean things that people would say that she probably didn't mean, but deserved to mean at the moment. And actually, I'll get into how she feels more later. But she had all the hateful things that she had rights to say, but she didn't really say much other than she hates Morgan. And
she has every right to. She was betrayed.
She was completely betrayed by somebody who she claimed to be a best friend. Mm-hmm. And that's heartbreaking, horribly heartbreaking. The girls were tried as adults. Now, Morgan and Anissa, first, I think they went non-guilty. Mm-hmm. And then they pled guilty.
With the plea of insanity.
With the plea of insanity. Morgan struck a deal pleading first-degree murder. Anissa's deal was second-degree murder. Mm-hmm. Now, the other part that really pissed me off is there's a documentary on HBO, Beware the Slenderman, that you guys can watch. Anissa's dad, who broke my heart in this show, broke my heart. He felt like a complete failure. Anissa's parents are separated. And in his household, internet's a privilege. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be on the internet, it's doors are open. You got a limited time. Otherwise, you're out here with the family.
Yeah, and limited sites, too. I think he said it, like, everything was, like, locked and whatnot.
Very limited sites. Mom claimed the same, but I don't think that was the case.
No.
Because it was in her
web browsing.
Yes, it was in Anissa's web browsing. Anissa's stuff was searched, and there was some very disturbing stuff found on her website, on her browser, her YouTube browser to be exact. She had a YouTube page because, like we said, YouTube was huge at the time. And she had some things I didn't think were too weird, like, am I crazy? Or if you answer these questions, it means you're a psychopath. And the reason I don't think that they're crazy or weird is, like, I remember being not her age. I was a little bit older. But I remember seeing those, and it's, like, basically, like, a riddle. And if you happen to get the riddle right, it does not make you fucking crazy. It just, you got the riddle right.
We all did those stupid quizzes, whether it was in a magazine or online. We all did it.
Right. What made it disturbing is Anissa's comments. It was, lock me up, cops, because I'm a psychopath. I'm coming to kill. Mm-hmm. Or, I must be crazy. Watch out. That kind of stuff. And then
even some of the other videos she watched was disturbing.
She watched a video. She had a video in her history where she was watching, I think it was one of those servals, the African cats.
Yes.
Beating a mouse to death for food. It was eating. And this woman, posted the video of feeding her cat. Again, typical video of just this cat eating a mouse. It was, again, the comments. She, like, found enjoyment out of the poor mouse's life. And the other one that was really disturbing was that there was it was a really creepy clown saying a riddle. And I've heard this riddle before. And it was, why do you put a baby in a blender feet first? And it's so you can see the reaction when you turn it on. And it was very creepy. Very creepy. I've heard the joke. I don't find it funny. But Anissa's comment is to the effect of, like, how did the baby cross the road? Because it was strapped to my bumper.
She was just, she
was a sick individual.
Yeah.
Who needed help. Mm-hmm. Now, Morgan's stuff was also ransacked. Morgan didn't have internet. Any internet she did have was at school. Mm-hmm. There was a big concern because Waukesha actually was starting the iPads thing in schools. And actually, Anissa's dad both went to the school. Anissa's dad, Morgan's parents did not. Because I think Morgan's an only child.
Yeah.
But Anissa has siblings, quite a few siblings. And Anissa's dad actually went to the school because he did not agree with the fact that he helped petition against the idea of iPads being given to students. Mm-hmm. And go him. I fucking am all for that. And I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Morgan's stuff was searched. And her stuff was very disturbing because hers were drawings.
Mm-hmm. She was artistic.
Very artistic in a very painful way. Mm-hmm. She had drawings basically screaming for help. Mm-hmm. She had lots of help my mind make it shut up, help my mind. It won't stop. I'm so scared and lost. And the drawings were of just darkness. And not only that, there was a Barbie doll that was, its hands were like cut off. There was another Barbie doll that had like what would have been stab marks drawn on her. A lot of very, very, very disturbing.
Conflicting images.
Conflicting images, yes. And again, what was very heartbreaking is her parents were very unaware.
Which, I'm not going to say anything, but it irritates me. They should have been more aware.
They should have. And I'll get into that in a little bit. Because during the trial, they both pled insanity. So they both were given psych evaluations. And Morgan was actually diagnosed with youth onset schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
And what is heartbreaking about the fact that poor little Morgan had schizophrenia and nothing was noticed is her dad has schizophrenia.
Yep.
And he's upset that he did not pick it up. He's in the documentary, he's just crying. He's just sobbing because he knows what she's going through right now. And getting that diagnosis is so scary. And he's, like I said, upset that he didn't pick it up, that he didn't realize it. And he thinks that she hid it because those were her only friends. And she was just better at hiding it than he was as a kid. Because he's completely helped. His is controlled. He says that doesn't mean to say that he doesn't look in a rearview mirror every once in a while and see something. But he's better at being able to tell his brain pretty quickly, like, that's not really there.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he thinks that Morgan kind of hid it better because those were her friends. And she was scared that they were going to get taken away from her. And they basically were, because she was friends with like Snape and Darth Vader, because she was a big Star Wars fan, or Star Trek fan, not Darth Vader. She was a huge Star Trek fan.
Mm-hmm.
So she had a Star Trek person as well that she claimed she could see. But it got taken away from her by the means of Anissa throwing Slenderman into the mix, because that's when she really did start to get dark.
Yeah, it was encouraged.
It was encouraged, and those images were put in her head. And because Morgan was able to feel like she could see things, of course, that's kind of cool to tell people.
But she didn't really know. She wasn't really educated about it because her family wasn't talking about it.
No.
Which they should have been talking about it.
And that's where they messed up.
They should have been having her, like, going to see somebody just in case.
Well,
just in case. Like, if I ever had kids, my mom's schizophrenic. It's genetic. Mm-hmm. Like, you bet your sweet ass my kid would get fucking regular checkups, like, every 3 months to make sure that we're not showing any signs.
Yeah. Now, Morgan's mom does look back now, and she beats herself up on a lot of details that I could understand why she dismissed. Because, when your 4-year-old comes in and says, Mom, there's a monster in my room.
Well, yeah.
You're going to send him back to bed.
Yeah.
And now she's, like, kicking herself in the head that she didn't look into that further. I don't blame her for that.
No, I don't blame her for that. I blame her for not acknowledging the family history.
Yeah. And the dad blames himself for that.
I'm sorry. You have to. I can't stick up for him for that.
He just, at that point, wanted to just go and hug her because he knows how she feels right now.
As he should have. Like, it's still hard to go through. It's still hard to see your child go through it. But, it boggles my mind. You went through this and how hurtful it was and how much you struggle with it. Why wouldn't you make sure that your child is okay?
Mm-hmm.
They fully acknowledged in the documentary, like, yeah, she was different. She was a little quirky.
Yes.
And
that she just had a weird confidence to her that they didn't understand.
But why wouldn't they seek it out? Just for
peace of mind's sake?
Yeah.
It's an answer we'll never have.
Like, that's one thing Toasties, I didn't give Missy all the credit for. Oh, shit, sorry, I hit the mic. But she does. She makes sure her kids mentally are well taken care of. Like, she wants them to be happy, healthy human beings. And most parents do not do that.
Yeah.
And that's why, I may be biased, but that's why she is the best.
Oh, thanks.
She is the best mommy. And I'm sorry if that takes a slight at y'all. You'll just have to fight her over it. But I'm giving her that title.
Oh, thanks.
But she really does. And like you can hear how passionate she is about mental health and whatnot.
I'm very, very, very fucking passionate about it.
I just don't understand where it was with these parents. Like, come on. Like, if you suffer from schizophrenia as a parent and you know it's genetic, why wouldn't you have her test it?
I think they thought she was too young. I don't know. I like I said, it's answers that we'll never be able to have.
You're right.
Well, we never will. Now, like I said, the girls did their plea deals, and during that time that they were waiting for their sentencing, in the documentary, there's again a phone call. Anissa was able to talk to her dad on the phone, and you would have thought this girl was away at fucking summer camp. Mm-hmm. She was chipper. She was happy. She was excited.
Making friends.
Making friends. It was said that Anissa and Morgan were very close in prison or jail because they were in a juvenile center, and they were inseparable. And then one person, one of the guys that they were in juvie with, he got out, and he was there talking to her because they were friends. Mm-hmm. And he said the same thing, that they were like thick as thieves.
Yeah.
Now, upon sentencing, they both were found not guilty due to insanity. Mm-hmm. Morgan, with her onset schizophrenia, she was sentenced to 40 years in a mental institution in Winnebago. Anissa, found not guilty due to insanity. She was diagnosed with
a learning disability.
Not just a learning disability, but basically
it was a learning disability.
No. Well, it was a learning disability, but they further gave some information on it. She was diagnosed, oh gosh, where did I have that? Basically where she takes on other people's illnesses is what she was.
Okay, I call that bullshit, but we can go with it.
That's what they called it.
But in the trial, it was a learning disability.
Yes, and the thing is in the trial, there were so many people who said like Anissa had never, ever, ever showed any signs of any of this kind of stuff. But Morgan, apparently, not that she would hurt anybody, but Morgan did show signs of things that were concerning to people. But again, when you're just kind of that oddball kid, you know,
with schizophrenia, and you're encouraged, and all of a sudden everything somebody else is saying kind of makes sense because you see these things, it becomes reality for you as a child, especially with their imagination. Right. It was I did not like that Anissa girl. I mean, I don't hate Morgan.
I mean, Morgan deserves. I like the fact that Morgan did not go to jail. She is in a mental institution.
Yeah. Well, they both were for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I may have spilled the beans a little.
No, you're good. You're good.
But it was like I thought it was very unfair though, because while they were in between the institution and the juvie, they're not being treated. Granted, Anissa doesn't really need it because she's just a whole ass cunt. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say that about a kid.
Well, she's not a kid anymore.
No, I don't even care. Even if she was a kid, she's still a cunt. But
fair.
Morgan has a legit mental illness, and she is not being treated for it. And schizophrenia, if you do not treat that, it can be
worse. Dangerous. It can be very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
And that's the really shitty thing too, is during the trial situation, she actually wasn't getting any treatment.
Mm-hmm. None whatsoever.
None. While Anissa's living her high life, she's, sounds like she's at, like I said, she sounded like she was at fucking summer camp.
Even when you look at them in the courtroom, Anissa's fine.
She's smiling half the time.
Yeah, Morgan's like
a zombie.
Yeah. You don't even, and
she's either a zombie or she's crying.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is eventually a moment where Morgan was finally getting treatment, and the judge made her say out loud what she did, and she couldn't because she was sobbing. Mm-hmm. She said it, but the work it took her to say it, she's just sobbing.
And keep in mind, like, she may look like a zombie. She is on no medication at this point. Mm-hmm. She is just mentally not there anymore.
No, she was not.
It's such a sad story from all three parts.
It really is, because there's a lot of failure parts that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it was September of 2016 when the girls were sentenced in Wisconsin. Like I said, Anissa and Morgan was a maximum of 40 years. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Peyton real fast because let's talk about
Before
Peyton.
we get into all the nasty stuff.
Yes, Peyton was not just physically damaged. She was very mentally damaged. She actually, by the time she got home from the hospital, she slept in the room with her parents every night. She would also, when she would sleep alone, she'd sleep with a pair of broken scissors under her bed, under her pillow for protection. She was just terrified. Terrified for a long time. However, she was also excited to go back to school that fall, though.
Some kind of normalcy in
I
her
think-
fucked up life.
I think she did want to get back to some normalcy. Whoever did her surgeries, they rocked it. That little girl has no scars. She has very minimal physical scars. She has her mental scars, and those, I hope, are healing just as quickly as the physical ones did. I'm sure that it's going to take a while. But instead of staying forever angry and letting this bitter her, the only thing that she wouldn't do is sleepovers anymore. Terrified.
I wouldn't either.
I don't blame her. However, she is spinning all of this as much positive as she can. She said that when she came out of all of it, it gave her the plan for her life. And that plan was that what she was going to do when she grows up. And she is going into the medical field. She knew in 7th grade now at this point that she was going to be in the medical field. I think she wanted to go be in for emergency room. Because she was so grateful for the team that she had that saved her life that she wants to return that favor to somebody else. And she said that she feels pretty lucky to be a girl at her age to know the direction she wants her life to go in because most girls her age don't. And at the end of the day, she wants nothing to do with Anissa or Morgan, and that her heart hurts the most for Morgan's mom because she knows that this has to be killing her mom, and that hurt her. And the fact that she can come out of all of that and be still that fucking positive, guys, take a page out of Peyton's book.
That's a beautiful soul.
That is a beautiful girl.
We need more souls like that.
It took until 2019 for Peyton to actually finally come out and tell her side of the story. That's 5 years later before she finally felt comfortable to share her side of the story. And she kind of sounds like she had let a lot of her hatred and hurt. I think she had to work up. She had a lot of hurt. She had a lot of hate. She had a lot of everything in her. And
she had to heal from it.
She had to heal, and rightfully so. Now her parents, on the other hand... They need to take a page out of their daughter's book. They did a good job on raising that little girl. For her to be so positive. She is now a sophomore in college. I feel old.
We are old.
I know. She was a sophomore in college. Her location obviously is not known. Morgan's family had left Waukesha because they couldn't. Everywhere they went, it just reminded them of what happened, and they couldn't bear that anymore. They were getting death threats and hate threats, and that's not fair.
No, it's not.
I don't blame Morgan's mom either. She apparently was known to be very, very, very strict mom, and she did what every mom would have done.
Yeah.
Let her kid have a little bit of freedom. It was her birthday. She's 12. There's 3 12-year-old girls. They should be smart enough to handle a park that's 4 blocks down. I mean, I would be the same way. I let my kids go off and do things every once in a while. Am I terrified of it? Abso-fucking-lutely. But I have to let them learn to go off on their own. I tell my kids all the time, I can't hold your hand forever. I would love to be able to do literally every little detail for them all the time. I tell them all the time too. I was like, if I could just hold your hand and do every little thing for you, that would be great. But you would be useless to society.
Yep.
And I would fail you. So I don't blame Morgan's mom to let her daughter have this little bit of freedom for her birthday.
Not at all. And she didn't deserve any of that backlash that she got. And then ultimately, those people are giving that backlash. You're just as bad as Anissa Morgan in my book. You might as well put that knife back into Peyton.
Right.
Because you're just being another nasty human being.
And I think that's why Peyton definitely wanted to get her story out, to get it out there. Like, leave Morgan's mom alone.
Yeah, don't do this.
As far as Anissa, crazy story, Peyton's mom never knew who Anissa was, and Anissa's mom never knew who Peyton was.
Yeah, that's not cool. Not for a sleepover.
No.
I send my kid over. You better. I gotta know everybody.
Yeah. Now, the fun ending stuff. Peyton's living her best life. Her location is unknown, and it's going to stay that way. Leave her alone. Anissa's still in Waukesha. Because Anissa got out in 2021. September of 2021, Anissa got out. Anissa petitioned to the judge that she had exhausted all her resources to be a good person in jail, and that it would be best if she got let out into society to show the world that she's ready to show them that she can be good. Because she feels that she got all the help she needs while she's in jail and deserves to show the judge that she learned everything, but she can't do it from in jail.
Well, sure as hell learned some great manipulation skills because she's fucking flying.
Well, yeah, she got out. Now, she got out with stipulations that she was supposed to be under 24/7 GPS watch. So she had a monitor on her ankle. All her electronics were monitored constantly. She wasn't allowed to do pretty much anything. She basically was on house arrest for the remainder of her sentence. 2023, she got her GPS taken off.
What the fuck? No, she did not.
Yes, September of 2023. She is no longer on GPS tracking.
That little fucking cunt. I hate her. I'm sorry. I don't regret any of that sentence. Little fucking cunt. She is a great manipulator. She's right up there with Gypsy. Fucking hoe.
Oh, gosh.
I don't like her.
Sorry, May of 2023. I was wrong.
That's even sooner.
Oh, sorry, no. JK.
Wait.
I'm getting myself confused. Backtracking. It was September 12th of 2023 that judge removed the GPS stipulation. And that means that she is now at the highest degree of freedom since the attack and now has a chance to at rebuilding her life again. Yes.
Well, I hope she does it in a positive manner so I can stop hating her, but I doubt it.
I don't think she's capable.
I don't either.
It was May of 2020. Now, Morgan has petitioned as well to try to get out.
Many times.
May of 2023, she petitioned and then withdrew it in August.
Withdrew it?
She withdrew it. Now, just this year in January, Morgan had submitted again her petition to be released from the mental institution because she's been on heavy lockdown in the mental institution. Last I found, her parents even had a hard time being able to see her but once a week.
Okay.
And it is under review. Okay. And in April, they will determine if Morgan can get out finally.
Oh, you gotta fucking update us on that.
That was the newest. She submitted it at the end of January.
As long as she's medicated.
I don't think she fully wants to get out. I think that it was...
I don't think she'll ever heal from this. I don't think she will. I think this one's going to sit with her for life. Even if she is medicated.
Agree. I don't think she fully ever will. I think that she will be... I think she will probably need a lot of therapies even when she finally gets out. I don't think her therapy... I mean, obviously her therapy is never going to end with the conditions that she has.
No, it never does end. Like, I can tell you that from... Once again, my mother. I mean, she's medicated, and even she still has episodes medicated.
Yes.
Now, granted, she spent most of her life being not medicated, so it's way worse than where Morgan's at. But still, regardless of the situation, she still needs help, even though she's medicated. Yes.
Now, here, I found what I was looking for. Morgan had petitioned that if she can be reevaluated. And if the psychological evaluation is in her favor, then she could be released.
I agree with that. I'm okay with that.
So the judge assigned 3 psychiatrists to evaluate Morgan, and in April a hearing will occur to discuss the matters of if she would be allowed to be released.
Oh, so we gotta come back in probably like May and update everybody.
Yes. So the fact that Anissa served such little fucking time, and then
that's fucking irritating.
Like, look at her friggin' smiling in that picture. She's in court, smiling.
She has no guilty conscience. She's a narcissist.
She's a whole lot of things.
Like, she's a psychopath.
Yeah.
No fucking conscience whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's irritating. And especially for somebody that young. And then everybody's like, oh yeah, okay, she's healed. Like, how the fuck does like this teenager manipulate all these adults?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah.
But we see it happen every single fucking day, so.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we have like 52 episodes now.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
Yeah. Shouldn't be surprised, but thank you for resharing.
Thanks for re-listening.
This case still pisses me off.
I know.
Still gets me heated.
It was so funny too because I was like, I'll quickly put it all together. I tried to look for my original notes, could not find. I'm pretty sure I threw them out of anger. Like, this sucked. Fuck this
it
episode.
Didn't suck. You just said like I don't know, like 50 times, and
I talked really
that's
fast.
where you talked super fast
because I was
like
so
rap
nervous.
But that's where the ums come from. Granted, we still say ums a lot, but
yes,
that's where it originated from. So that if you hear you drink some water.
Yes, please.
Get hydrated.
Yes, please get hydrated. Or my husband's says straight out of whiskey because of the ums. He has a sweater that he made for us, the Toasted Shenanigans sweater, because we were toying around with the idea of having merchandise for you guys, and I think we were getting just too excited and we weren't ready for the merchandise idea as soon as we thought we were. However, that's probably going to be coming down the pike for you all soon.
We're going to make some big changes this year.
I hope so. And so we tested out a company for the merchandise and we made a bunch of different prototypes type sweaters, and he made one that says straight out of whiskey because of the ums. And I'm like, babe, it's supposed to be water. He was like, yeah, whiskey. I'm like, no, water. He's like, yeah, whiskey. I heard whiskey. I'm like, oh my gosh. Don't drink whiskey for the amount of ums we say. That is a bad juju idea.
You'll be hella drunk.
Hella
toasted.
Oh, yeah. So, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Toasties.
Happy birthday to you. Or should we do like a Marilyn
Monroe?
Happy
birthday to you,
Mr. President. Sorry, that's a case conversation coming up too, guys.
Oh yeah, I've been debating on that one, but that's a whole ass. That's probably gonna be like 3 episodes. That's a whole ass story.
It is a whole ass.
It's one of my favorites, but it's a doozy.
You know her terms. Yes, it's a doozy. Did you know her and the Queen were the same age?
I did not know that.
They were born the same year.
Well, I like Marilyn. I don't like the Queen. But we won't get started on that because I know you had your feelings about the Queen.
I love Harry.
I know. I like Harry, too. I don't like his fucking grandmother.
I'm not going to say nothing. But yeah, they were the same age. If she was alive, she would have been that old.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Of course, Miss Wikipedia over here knows it.
Hey, I know facts, not trash. I'm an encyclopedia. Someone actually called me that at work one time. They're like, you're an encyclopedia. I'm like, they're like, how do you know stuff? I'm like, I read a lot.
You're like, what's his face from Game of Thrones? I drink and I know things. What's his name? Starts with a T. I can't remember right now. I love Game of Thrones, but I can't remember it.
I don't know why I want to say Tegan, but it's not.
No, it's not Tegan. It's like
he's my favorite character.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I never watched the show. I watched the first 6 episodes, but he was my favorite character.
God damn it. I gotta Google it real quick. Hold on, Toasties.
Tyrion.
Yes! Tyrion. No. Is it? Oh, Tyrion. You're right. Tyrion Lannister. How do you know? You've never fucking watched it. I'm over here
he's my favorite character.
And I watch it just because it's one of my comfort shows.
I think it's stupid.
I don't think it's the last 2 seasons. 2 seasons.
I heard that.
Last 2 seasons are trash. But it's a great series. Great books, too.
I would probably read the books. I probably would like them better because I watched the show and and everybody tells me this. I know that some shows start off super slow. So you're just going to be like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
Like Outlander.
No, that was instant action.
No, it was not.
Oh gosh, that first episode was
so slow.
No, it wasn't. That first episode was perfect. But I literally was just like, got up to the 6th episode. I got to where he dumped the gold on her brother's head. And I just never went back after that.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Oh, yeah, sorry, guys. Even though, well, I never said specifically what season that was in. Yeah.
Or who.
Yeah. Or who. But even though when that moment happened, I'm like, oh, finally. That was awesome. And I never watched any more after that.
You've got to watch it. You got to sit down and try it.
I have so many shows on my Rolodex of things I have to watch.
You and I both, but I keep going back to my comfort ones.
I just don't watch anything. I just stopped watching Yellowstone out of nowhere. I'm just like, I'm going to bed instead.
I've started rewatching that for another comfort show.
Well, the problem is like, hubby wants to watch it, and he wants to go to bed, and I don't want to watch it without him.
Oh shit, Sean did that too, and I'm fucking, I flew past him. I was like, fuck you, bro. Person. I want to know what happens next.
I'm not that person. I don't. If Lloyd likes the show with me, I will wait for him.
Oh, you're a good wife. I'm not.
Well, you're not married, so that's cool. You don't need to be a good wife.
I just zoom right past it. I'm like, nope, I'm watching it. Sorry about your luck. I'll tell you what you missed.
Anyways, Toasties. Come back for Saturday's birthday party, shenanigans, and all the fun things. P.O. Box information will be posted up soon. If you guys are quick enough to get something to us by, then maybe we'll be able to share it on our live with you. I don't know.
Or email us, toastedshenaniganspodcast@gmail.com. You can send it that way too.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Send us there. I just like opening letters and stuff that's not a bill.
Yeah, very true.
But anyways, go find us on all the medias of the socials. And even though we suck at it. Until next time, guys. Bye.